Hello, this is Dom, and in this video we are going to cover the topic of how to use the Vet Resources Trello Board. Vet Resources. All right, so now that we're starting to get some Vet Resources stuff in here, I thought it best that we create a video kind of discussing how to go through, and use it. Now, your starting point for, especially for the interns that are looking for content to use on social media and happen to stumble across some veteran related content, veteran resource type content, your starting point is this inbox. So as soon as you find something that you think is useful for veterans, go ahead, add it to the inbox. So you find something cool, resource for vets, whatever it's actually called. I'm just calling it that. But if there's a title to the story or whatever, you could do that. And then add attachment, attach a link, www.coolstuffforvets.com. Done. All right, cool. Now the next step, you're going to want to add a checklist. So click on checklist and suggested vet resources blog. Click that checklist. Notice all these things come right here. Okay, and so now you have all this stuff. A blog needs to be written that focuses on the resources available for veterans. Call to action for easy click to take advantage of the resource. A social media graphic is going to be made. Now, for the social media graphic, it's simple. It's actually from a PowerPoint template. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to make another video showing how to use it. It should be pretty simple. You just kind of add a picture on the left hand side and some text on the right hand side. Everything else is just, as long as you know how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, it shouldn't be that hard for you to do. So it's not difficult. It's just something we can share on social media. Disclaimer language added. The sharing of any non-VA information does not constitute endorsement of products and services on part of VA. So that should be at the end of any blog post, I imagine. Contributors info added. So if you were an author or an editor, make sure you put your role in the write-up. So if it's you put author colon Dominique Ramirez, editor colon Timothy Hudak, for instance. So that would be at the end of the post, kind of like how we were doing it on the Veteran of the Day posts. Feature image added and other images as possible, if possible. So the other images, if there's other images throughout the story, you can add them as attachments to the card. And then for the featured image, I think he's just taking. I think their team has just been taking the images from the story and adding them. So I guess just grab all the pictures that are in the article and add them to the card. So right click them, download them, or save them to your computer, and then upload them to this card so that we have something to use. And yeah, so once you get all these things done, well, I mean, you're going to be checking them off as you go through the process. But for the purposes of this video, let's assume that we just added this and we're going to write up a story. So you added it to the inbox and it's a cool resources for vets, and you leave it here. This is where you drop it. Somebody from the VEO team is going to grab this and say, oh, okay. Well, they're going to look at it. They're going to check out your link, coolstuffforvets.com, and they're going to look it up and see if that's something they want to use. And then they'll grab it, drop it into approved. At this point, a writer can write it. And so you can just join the card, click the join button, and then, I guess there's a label now, label writer assigned. All right. Put the label on so anybody can see that you're you're assigned or you assigned somebody to it, but also add a comment saying writer, so people know you're the writer. And then you would write it up, and then you would attach a document. So add an attachment from my computer, how to report a VCL. All right, let's call this the document. Okay, cool. Now the document is attached. We don't really have a label for that, but how about this? Document attached. All right, save. Boom. And then I'm going to add the label document attached, so you can easily see that there's a document attached. And once there's a document attached, like, an editor can go ahead and hop in the card too. But, also this is a clear indication right here. Once you're done writing it, drop it on editing. Like drag it and drop it to editing. And if there's not already an editor on the card, then an editor should join. At which point an editor will see it. Either they'll see the yellow label and know that there's a document attached and it's still sitting here for some reason, or they'll see it sitting here in editing, and they'll hop in here and be like, oh, I want to be the editor, editing, and the editor will also click the join button and join the card. They would, or they can click over here, join the card, whatever. Anyway, the editor would join. And then I suppose we need a label for, I don't know, what's this going to be called? Editor assigned, save. All right, so now there's an editor for this. And then you do your little editing thing, and then you upload a document that has the edits for this blog post, and then the writer will review your edits, and if they accept them all, they upload a final draft. You can delete all the previous drafts, at which point this thing is done, and you can go and toss it in complete. Once it's incomplete, somebody from the Veterans Experience Office is going to say, hey, this is a cool thing that we approved. The blog post is written. We're going to put it on the blog. But they're going to start scheduling it out. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So notice we have all these dates here. These are different lists that are representing basically when this story is going to post. So keep in mind, you might be finding a resource. Oh man, stop doing that. You might be finding a resource that's going to be used 2 or 3 weeks from now. You're filling out a newsletter basically with information about cool resources, and this is where the newsletter interns will kick in. The interns that are managing the newsletter, they will start. They can start building out the newsletter based on the stories that have been approved, submitted, approved, written, edited, and considered complete. And also for the newsletter interns, you're going to want to wait until somebody from VEO drags it and drops it onto a particular week. If that's not the case, then I'll let you know. But as far as it just seems like that makes sense. Like you're going to want, they're going to want to run a certain amount of stories per week. So they'll start filling out one week and then start moving out to the next one and then move out to the, eventually there will be like a nice backlog. And so you'll just see, oh, okay, I need to build a newsletter for this week. And you guys can have like a, 2, 3, 4 week backlog worth of just newsletters that are ready to go. So anyway, that's the basics. I'll be in Slack. Tim Hudak is now in Slack. Tim is from the Veteran Experience Office. And so if you have questions, just ask me or ask him. And yeah, so that's how it works. Talk to you later.